So you gonna make the
Okay, I'd like to call us to order, this being the time and place for the regular scheduled August 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Please call the roll. Here.
Gordon.
Here.
Chase.
Here.
Wade. Wynn.
Here.
Temple.
Here.
Burrows.
Here.
Pike.
Here.
Evans.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from the July meeting?
make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Borden, second by Mr. Wynn. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved. Okay, I'd like to take a moment and introduce the Planning Commission members and give a brief description of what we do and how this meeting is conducted. The commission has 9 members. 8 of us are volunteers appointed by the mayor for a 6-year term. We also have 1 member from the city council. My name is Kent Lawrence. Our vice chair is Gary Borden. Our secretary is Larry Way, who is not with us today. Other members are Francis Tate, Myrna Burrows, Joseph Wynn, Eddie Pike, Forrest Temple, and our council member is Hunter Pepper. Members of the public seeking to get an item considered by the Planning Commission must send an application to the Planning Department not less than 21 days prior to this meeting. Unless otherwise specified, all applications for development approvals are the result of submittals by a private citizen seeking some change to their own property. In making our decision, a primary tool used by the Planning Commission is the One Decatur Comprehensive Plan. This is a general community plan for the city of Decatur, was adopted through a public process to formalize a vision for the future of the community. In many of these cases, the Planning Commission does not have the final say. Zoning, annexations, vacations, sidewalk cafe license, and some resolutions all require additional approval by the City Council before they become official. In these cases, the role of the Planning Commission is to advise the City Council. The first part of today's meeting is a public hearing. Each item will be read separately and voted on after comments and discussions. If you wish to make a comment on an item, we ask that you come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and then make your comments. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. And you're free to leave after you speak for the request you're here for, or you're welcome to stay for the entire meeting. Today's public hearing will have these type requests. Annexation is adding an unincorporated land contiguous to the city limits to our city boundaries. Zoning, or in today's case, is a pre-zoning. This is where we apply a city zoning district to property that has been recently annexed or does not have a zoning district applied to it. This also moves forward to the City Council. Rezoning, this is changing the current zone of a property to a different zoning. The Commission will vote to recommend or not recommend the zoning change to the City Council. If an applicant wishes to go to the City Council without the recommendation of the Planning Commission, they should notify the Planning Department via email or in writing today or by tomorrow. And then other thing is preliminary plats. This is the second step of the subdivision process and will have construction plans included. All right, Mr. Williams, if you would read the first case, please.
First, we have annexation 8544, that's 5.06 acres. The current zone is unincorporated. The applicant is Patrick Kirk. The location is 2612 Old Moulton Road, and the request is to annex into the city limits. Proposed land use is commercial, and One Decatur future land use is low residential. One Decatur street typology is Old Moulton is a minor arterial, and there are no conditions to be met. A point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction.
Okay, is there anyone from the public who would wish to speak to this request? Yes, sir. Come forward, please.
I don't know if it's possible. I don't really know what's happening. I live pretty close to this.
Okay.
And right now it's like woods and area, and I'm just wanting to know what the plan for this would be, because my residences could be affected if it
Okay.
becomes commercial or whatever.
Well, what they're asking us to do on this is annex it into the city. The next step would be to apply zoning to it. But a reason people want to annex into the city, because to connect our sewer system, you have to be part of the city. So I sort of speculate that's one reason they want to annex. And then they're requesting a B1 zoning, which is our lowest commercial level of zoning. It's zoning in a residential neighborhood, gas stations, laundromats, can't name them all, but lighter commercial type things, not restaurants, not lounges, are permitted in a B1. So it's right next door to the Cowboys.
I know where the property
Yeah,
is, I just,
and that's already Zone B1 where the, next door to it, so it'd be similar to what's there.
I actually don't live right on where this border is, but I live in a development that's, some of my neighbors, it would back up into theirs.
Right.
So I just wanted to know what they were planning, and so we don't know really what's planned, other than they're just trying to get in the city.
Well, and I would say this, there's mini storage on the back of this property.
Right.
And that is not a use that is permitted in a B1 zoning district.
Okay.
So if we do annex it in, that would be what's called non-conforming. So you can have a non-conforming business structure in a zone, and as long as you use it as that, you can continue to use it, but you can't expand it. So they wouldn't be able to expand the mini storage, and build more of those.
That's basically my concern. We're in a neighborhood, York Place is my neighborhood. Right now, my backyard is woods, which I love.
Yeah.
And I know there's Cowboys gas station, and they've got a car wash and a storage. And I'm like, I don't want that in my backyard.
Right.
So I'm just trying to find.
Chairman, we'll get name and address for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Stewart, S-T-U-A-R-T. Last name is Sheeler, S-C-H-I-E-L-E-R. And my address is 1228 Darrow B. Lane.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me, Eddie. Anyone else? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to recommend?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Temple, second by Mr. Borden. Any questions or discussions from anyone on the commission? Please call the roll.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Potter.
Yes.
Okay, this will be recommended to the council with a 7-0 vote. All right, next case, please.
Next, we have pre-zoning 1425-24. The current acres is 5.06. The current zone is unincorporated. The applicant is Patrick Kirk. The location is 26120 Old Moulton, and their request is to zone to B1 local shopping. The proposed land use is commercial, and one Decatur future land use is low residential, and one Decatur street typology is Old Moulton Road is a minor arterial. There are no conditions to be met, and the point of information is any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction.
Okay, is there anyone from the public who wish to speak to this request? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to recommend?
Motion for approval?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. Wynn. Any comments or questions from anyone on the commission?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The acreage numbers are different from the annexation to the pre-zoning. Is there a piece of the property that
It's just 5.06 acres.
is 5.06, not 5.2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I stated 5.06 on board.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else? Please call the roll.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Potter.
Yes.
And this will also be recommended with a 7-0 vote. Okay,
Next, we have rezoning 1426-24 is 0.77 acres. The current zone is M1 Light Industry, and the applicant is P. Wright McInerney. The location is 410 Railroad Street, and their request is to rezone 0.77 acres from M1 Light Industry to B5 Central Business District. The proposed land use is residential, and one Decatur future land use is urban core downtown. One Decatur street typology is Railroad Street, northwest is a local street. There are no conditions to be met, and point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction.
all right. Is there anyone from the public wish to speak to this request? Okay. All right, if not, do we have a motion to recommend?
Motion for approval?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. Temple. Any questions or comments from the commission? Please call the roll.
Lawrence.
Yes?
Gordon.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Hodges.
Yes.
This is recommended with a 7-0 vote. All right.
Next, we have preliminary plat, Valley Park Phase 2, 10.75 acres. The current zone is R3 single family, and the applicant is Pre-Wright McInerney. The location is Clear Creek Drive, and their request is to construct 32 dwellings on 10.75 acres. Proposed land use is residential, and one Decatur future land use is Flex Employment Center and low residential. One Decatur street typology is Clear Creek Drive. It's a local street. There are no conditions to be met, and the point of information is any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction.
Okay, is there anyone from the public wish to speak to this request? Okay, do we have a motion to recommend?
Motion for approval?
Second. Okay, and this is for approval, I'm sorry, it's not for recommending. Okay, any questions? Okay, motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. Nguyen. Borden? Excuse me, motion by Mr. Borden. I'm off my game today.
I consider that an upgrade for me.
All right. Any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Hodges.
Yes.
All right, that plat is approved 7-0. Okay, the next part of our agenda is the consent agenda. This part of the agenda is the Planning Commission has the final decision and does not require a public hearing. These items are read together and voted on as a group. Today, what we have are all site plans. These are proposed developments on the Collector Street or above. Plans show building placement, parking, circulation, landscaping, etc. You will be given an opportunity to speak on any of these after they've all been read, if you wish. Okay.
Site Plan 678-24, City of Lake Crossing. It is on 6.05 acres. The current zone is R4 multifamily, and the applicant is Barrison. The location is the corner of Salmon Road and Cedar Lake Road, and their request is to approve the site plan. Proposed land use is residential, and one Decatur future land use is mixed neighborhood. One Decatur street typology is Salmon and Cedar Lake Road are collected urban streets. Conditions to be met. Number one, please propose separated fire protection and domestic meter. Number two, please check erosion control plan. Number three, dumpster enclosure detail needed. And number four, please update amount of units on site plan. A point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction. Next, we have site plan 681.
We can't hear anything right there. Turn on the microphone.
Next, we have site plan 681-24. It is on 29.68 acres, and the current zone is M-1A Expressway Commercial. The applicant is Pre-Wright McInerney, and the location is the Fairgrounds Road. The request is to approve the site plan, and the proposed land use is commercial. One Decatur future land use is major institution and civic, and one Decatur street typology is Fairgrounds Road is a collector urban. Conditions to be met. Number one, please label loading and unloading. And number two, please add Decatur utilities easement. A point of information is any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction.
Okay, were you able to hear him now? You want to move up to the front? Okay.
Next is site plan 682-24. It's on 1.65 acres of land, and the current zone is B2 General Business. The applicant is St. John's and Associates, and the location is 3041 Highway 20. The request is to approve their site plan, and their proposed land use is commercial. One Decatur future land use is general industrial, and one Decatur street typology is Highway 20 is the principal arterial street. There are no conditions to be met, and a point of information is number 1, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction. Number 2, utility plan submission is needed, adjustments are needed. Site plan 683-24 is on 8.8 acres, and the current zone is M-1A Expressway Commercial. The applicant is Pre-Wright McAnally, and the location is 2902 CM Street Southwest. The request is to approve the site plan, and the proposed land use is residential. One Decatur future land use is community commercial, and one Decatur street typology, the CM Street, is a collector area. Conditions to be met, number 1, please show landscaping plan, calculations, required versus provided. Number 2, please obtain a variance for parking requirements for the apartment complex or an access agreement between the gym and the apartment complex. Section 25-16, number 2R states, whenever 2 or more uses shall be made of the same property, the parking requirements for each shall apply. Number 3, please change 128 parking spaces to 148 in the required parking section. And number 4, please obtain a variance for the number of dumpsters. Point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction. Number 2, side access streets will have a no parking sign.
We need to add another point of information here too, that the garages are being counted as one of the parking spaces, so they need to be maintained as a parking space.
And number 3, garages will be maintained as a parking space. Vacation 552-24, it is 0.30 acres of land. The current zone is B5 Central Business District and M1 Light Industry. The applicant is Pre-Wright McAnally, and the location is Cherry Street between Railroad and Bank Street Northwest. Their request is to approve the vacation. The proposed land use is residential, and one Decatur future land use is urban core downtown. One Decatur street typology is Cherry Street is a local street. And conditions to be met, number 1, please ensure that the right-of-way is changed to an easement. And a point of information is, number 1, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense, and any relocation needs to occur before construction. Number 2, electric lines will remain, must have access and easement for power lines.
Okay, so the vacation is actually not part of the consent agenda, but we'll go back and vote on the consent agenda and then come back to this. Is there anyone from the public that would wish to speak to any of the items on the consent agenda? There were 4 site plans that he read off. Yes, Mr. McAnally.
One clarification. Blake McAnally, 310 8th Avenue Northeast. In regards to this vacation for Cherry Street, we have been in here before, over a year ago, to get the southern half of it vacated. Our client continued to cobbled together about a dozen properties and now has both sides of the road between Bank and Railroad. So we're looking for the entire street. We do understand there's utilities that are not intended to be relocated, and the entire right-of-way will become an easement. And we're making provisions for access to those.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the 4 site plans as submitted?
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Temple, second by Mr. Borden. Any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Triple,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Okay, all those site plans are approved 7-0. Now we'll take up the vacation, 552-24. Does anyone like to speak to this vacation request? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to recommend?
Well,
Yeah,
well, Blake,
yeah.
I guess we have a question. Can we speak before
Yeah.
we make the motion?
Yeah. Well, no, we need to get a motion on the floor, then we can ask
Okay.
questions.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Temple, second by Ms.
We want to
Tate.
add this verbiage to the motion.
That's correct.
Yeah. Why don't you state the motion with the verbiage, and then we'll approve it.
Motion for approval, adding a request that the city council vacate but not be effective until a building permit is being purchased with a 1-year time limit.
We can just modify that, so it will just say that they won't execute it instead of it becoming effective.
Okay.
Okay, perfect,
So,
thank you.
won't be executed. So we're recommending, just to paraphrase, that the council approves this, but they don't execute it until a permit is purchased, and they have a 1-year time limit to do this in. If they're not going to make the year, they'll have to come request an additional time to that. Does that make sense, Mr. McAnally?
Yeah, just a clarification. So you're saying that, they have bought all the properties.
Right.
They own all the properties. So they fully intend to move forward. Design is underway, just so you're aware. So this vacation will not go before the council?
We'll go before.
Until, or will
No,
it
it
go?
will.
No, we're recommending that the council go ahead and approve it with the condition that it's not executed till they buy a permit.
The concern is that we lose a street.
Yeah. So
If it's developed.
it's approved, it just won't be executed until they buy a permit, and they have 1-year time limit to buy that permit or ask for an extension.
Okay. The design process on an apartment complex like this is significant.
Yeah.
It takes a fair amount of time in the bidding process. So I just need you to understand today that it may take a year
Right.
to get the design, the bidding, award of the contract, and notice to proceed, at which time a permit would then be purchased. So we want to ensure we have the ability to come back and extend this,
Right.
because I don't know what the calendar is. There's multiple design professionals involved who are just beginning design now.
Let me ask you this, can we make it 18 months?
Yes, you can make it
Look,
whatever
or
time.
what do you think is a reasonable time?
I think 18 is reasonable.
Okay, yeah, are you all right amending it to 18 months?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Say something, I'm not even supposed to be involved.
You're gonna have to come up here and state your name and,
My name is Barney
He
Lewis.
can't pass
P.O.
this.
Box 2688, you got catered. It's something to be thinking about, all of you, is that could be a cloud on title. If you put it to where they can't get the vacation, they go to the bank to get their financing, buy their permit, and I do title work, and I say, well, this street's not vacated, it's a public street, that's gonna be a problem. So I don't know if anybody's thought about that. I'm just sitting here, I'm not even involved in it, don't know anything about the people, but I'm just letting you know that could be an issue, from the standpoint of them getting financing.
And one thing to pile on that a little bit, we will bring it to consolidate all the properties on the southwest side and the northeast side that they have bought, along with the right-of-way, to consolidate it.
When is that coming?
yeah, maybe,
When will that?
yeah.
You guys are bringing that up when?
Well, that plat will be, this vacation has to take place for the
Right.
plat to be approved and recorded.
Right.
So that the entire property can't be created until the vacation's done.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'm
Okay, let
confused.
me, go ahead. I was just going to ask the question. When we say that they approve it but not execute it, does that,
It gives the city the ability not to have a vacation complete until we knew, because y'all's concern was that they might not build on it.
right?
That's the only thing that we can do, but it's not going to be recorded, so it's not in the probate records, and it's not complete and executed until that happens. So it's, because y'all wanted the condition,
Yeah.
that's what we can offer,
Right.
but it does have, there's two sides to it, so that's up to y'all.
We've got a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
We can't plat this without
Yeah.
that being vacated
Right.
and recorded
Right.
and be of record. So I can't approve Mr. Williams' plat to put that in and consolidate all those parcels until such time it's recorded.
Well, let me ask a question.
I would change my motion to approval as written.
A second.
Okay. So
Let me ask a
hold on, he's amending the motion. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to vote on this amendment.
I mean, since we're still discussing,
Sure.
can we,
I need to-
should we amend it to where there's an approved site plan instead of how it's written right now, where there's no stipulation?
Well, what he just explained, they can't consolidate it without it. So they can't they can't do a site plan that they consolidate it on.
Yeah, and we can bring the plat at the time we bring the site plan. They can run concurrently. And your body would have to approve the plat and then approve the site plan. You could do that in the same meeting.
But you're telling us you have to have it vacated before you can do the plat.
Correct.
Right.
Because I can't consolidate property that my client doesn't own.
Right.
And, to Mr. Lovense's point, there's banking involved. This is a many tens of $1 million type of project. And, getting clear title, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to be able to do all of that in a reasonable amount of time, because there's going to be a lot of people that expect that right of way to be fee simple property owned by the developer to affect the deal.
Okay.
Suggestion to you, I understand your concern, okay? I think you would find out from the city official, they are very, very supportive of this project.
Yeah.
Okay? If the worst comes to worst and it doesn't happen, the city can go back and condemn that right of way.
Well,
Yeah,
let me tell you,
and the planning commission is very excited about having this project as well.
yeah, that's not an issue. My concern about if the deal doesn't go through, you have closed a street that's cutting off access from Old Town,
And I'm
which have
saying that
very
there's a
few
remedy for
access.
there's a remedy for the city to go back and condemn that street, that property, and make it a street again.
Okay, we have a amendment on the floor with a motion and a second. Did you get those names? Okay. Pike amended his own motion. It was seconded by Mr. Nguyen. So I'm going to call the roll on the amendment first. Call the roll,
Read
please.
the amendment again.
Okay. He's amending it as written, that they're just asking, that we're recommending to the council that they vacate this property.
As written.
As written. All right, call the roll on that, please.
Parks,
Yes?
Gordon,
Yes.
Taylor,
No.
Wynn,
Yes.
Temple,
No.
Burrows,
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Okay, so the amendment passes 5-0. So now we're back to the motion of recommend,
5-0.
5-2, I'm sorry. Oh, somebody wake me up today. Back to the motion now is that we recommend to the council that they vacate this street. Any questions or comments now? All right, please call the roll on that. All right, I'm sorry, you got a
I'm sorry,
question?
I have a question. So can it be included that the street could be condemned if the development doesn't go through? Can that be included?
Again,
No, I think that's just a point of information that the city can take that
That's an
if
option
they
the
need
city
to. The
has.
city has that option.
Okay.
They have that. We don't have to put that in their motion.
Because they already have
it.
that. Okay,
Already have
We
it.
have that ability.
Okay. All right, please call the roll.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Taylor,
no?
Wynn,
Yes.
Temple,
No.
Burrows,
Yes.
Pike.
Yes.
Okay, this will be recommended with a 5-2 vote. All right. We had one other request in our other business. You want to read that request? Let him read it.
I just did read it, I'm
All right, this is a resolution for Decatur Christian Fellowship Church on 6 acres of land. The current owner is M1 Light Industry. The applicant is Crew Wright McInerney. The location is north of Belton Line Place Southwest, and their request is to relieve/terminate the restrictions in deed on page 70, number D1 and 2. Proposed land use is commercial, and one Decatur future land use is community commercial. One Decatur street typology is collector earth.
All right. Now you can speak.
Barney Lovelace, P.O. Box 2688, Decatur. This is probably the one that you haven't seen, at least Herman Mark had not seen it, neither had I. This was a deed done in 1999, drafted by former city attorney A.J. Coleman, where Parkview Baptist Church conveyed this property to Decatur Christian Fellowship. John White, the senior pastor, is here, and Ben Stanley, the associate pastor, is here. You have a letter, or I don't know if everyone has seen it, from Pastor White. So there was a restriction in the deed that read, and I'm just going to read it, and I don't know if everybody's seen it, but that no new or additional curb cuts on or access to Beltline Road shall be permitted therefrom. And the second one, this property shall be limited in use to parking facilities, signage, and non-habitable structures that shall otherwise be permitted by law. That's number 1 and 2. And number 3 gives the Planning Commission the authority to modify or relieve those restrictions. The plan is by the church is their plan is for this to be developed by a developer, and there's some property they're getting behind and the side of the church. Is that right? And the church is in favor of this. The proposed resolution that I sent to the city attorney's office on the issue about the curb cut, that's a state road, so that's going to be subject to ALDOT's approval. So basically the resolution would say, y'all remove that condition, but with the understanding that they'll have to get an approval from ALDOT for any curb cuts. And then the other one was, the second one about the non-habitable structures, is that you will remove it, but it must otherwise comply with the zoning laws of the city of Decatur. So the church is in favor of that, and the developer's in favor of that, so that's where we are.
Okay.
We'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone else wish to speak to this request? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion for approval?
Second?
A motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. Borden. Any comments or questions from the commission? Please call the roll.
Lawrence,
Yes?
Ford,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Temple,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Pike.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved 7-0. There are no other business before us, so I call us adjourned.
Tommy just gave it, Tommy just handed it to us there.
From last time, I didn't get a copy of the minutes.